Did you know a simple painting once helped break an empire? In the Byzantine Empire, icons, images of holy figures, were more than art. They connected people to the divine. People prayed to them, carried them into battle, and saw them as windows to heaven. Emperors feared this devotion, so they tried to destroy the icons. But destroying art only fueled resistance. People risked their lives to save icons, seeing them as symbols of faith and hope. The story of Byzantine icons reminds us, art can unite, inspire, and even topple empires. Empires have always used art to project power and divine favor. In Egypt, pharaohs built pyramids and temples, covered in carvings that declared their might and connection to the gods. Rome filled its cities with arches and columns, each carved with stories of victory and divine right. In China, the terracotta army was both a display of imperial wealth and belief in the afterlife. Grand temples, statues, and mosaics inspired awe and unity, reminding people who to obey and what to believe. Control the art, control the story, control the people. Empires rise and fall, but the art and the beliefs it inspires endure. That's the true power of art and empire. Sometimes, the art meant to support an empire turns against it. In Byzantium, emperors like Leo III saw devotion to icons as a threat to their power. Declaring icons as idols, they ordered their destruction. But the people saw this as an attack on their faith. Monks and citizens hid icons, risking everything to protect what they loved. Art became a symbol of defiance, a rallying point for those who refused to let their beliefs be dictated from above. In the end, the icons returned, and with them, the people's sense of ownership over their faith. Art isn't just paint on a wall, it's faith carved in stone and sung in sacred halls. Medieval cathedrals soared skyward, their stained glass telling Bible stories in light for those who couldn't read. These spaces inspired awe, drawing people into a world where the divine felt close. In the Islamic world, art took a different form. Intricate patterns and calligraphy filled mosques, reflecting the infinite nature of God. No images of people, just beauty that encouraged meditation and peace. Whether in stone or song, art united communities and deepened belief. For a farmer in France, a cathedral was a glimpse of heaven. For a merchant in Isfahan, a mosque's patterns were a reminder of divine order. These creations weren't just decoration, they were acts of devotion, shaping how people experience faith. Art made the invisible visible, turning belief into something you could see, touch, and hear. It offered comfort, inspired wonder, and sometimes quietly questioned authority. The whispers of faith in art could grow into a chorus too powerful for rulers to ignore. Across cultures, sacred art became the heartbeat of spiritual life. It was a language everyone understood, no matter their status or education. Through stone and song, art brought the sacred into everyday life. And in doing so, it changed the world. Music has always been a force that moves hearts, and sometimes mountains. Rulers used grand hymns to unite crowds and reinforce their power, turning worship into spectacle. But music could also be a tool of rebellion. During the Protestant Reformation, Martin Luther wrote hymns in German, using familiar tunes so everyone could sing. Suddenly, worship was for the people, not just the priests. These songs spread faster than pamphlets, carrying new ideas across Europe. Singing in your own language became an act of defiance, a challenge to church and emperor alike. Authorities tried to ban the hymns, but the music couldn't be silenced. Songs like "A Mighty Fortress Is Our God" became anthems of courage and change. Music gave ordinary people a voice, uniting them in hope and resistance. It turned faith into something shared, not imposed. The power of song proved greater than any decree. Through music, belief became a movement, and history was changed, not just by words, but by the melodies that carried them. That's the enduring magic of sacred music. While rulers built grand monuments, ordinary people made their own sacred art. Simple, handmade icons and statues filled village churches and homes, connecting faith to daily life. In Latin America, retablos, colorful boxes with local figures, blended Bible stories with real life, making faith personal and relevant. Folk art became a quiet form of resistance, preserving identity under foreign rule. Enslaved Africans in America created spirituals, songs with double meanings, expressing both biblical hope and the dream of freedom. Art became a lifeline, a secret language of survival and hope. The official art of empires told stories of power. The people's art told stories of endurance and faith. These humble creations mattered deeply to their communities, shaping rituals and celebrations. They reminded people that history isn't just made by kings, but by countless hands and voices. Art for the people was honest, direct, and full of heart. It kept traditions alive when everything else was threatened. Through folk art, faith stayed close, woven into the fabric of everyday life. The power of these creations lies in their authenticity. They are the true heartbeat of history, echoing the hopes and dreams of ordinary people. And they remind us that everyone has a story worth telling. The Sistine Chapel ceiling is more than a masterpiece. It's a quiet revolution. Pope Julius II wanted art to glorify God and the papacy, so he hired Michelangelo. But Michelangelo had his own vision. He painted powerful human figures, Adam reaching for God, both full of energy and emotion. This was a new vision, humanity as heroic, not just humble. The art reflected Renaissance ideas, celebrating human potential and drama. It subtly challenged the Church's hierarchy, suggesting a direct, personal connection to the divine. The Pope got more than he bargained for, art that glorified not just God, but the human spirit. The Sistine Chapel became a symbol of how artists can transcend their patron's intentions. Michelangelo's work inspired awe, but also sparked new ways of thinking about faith and power. The ceiling's message was radical human dignity and creativity matter. It was a turning point, showing that art could question as well as celebrate authority. The legacy of the Sistine Chapel is not just its beauty, but its boldness. It reminds us that art can challenge power, even from the heart of empire, and its echoes still inspire us today. Sacred art can unite a nation, or tear it apart. In Russia, onion-domed churches and wonder-working icons became symbols of national identity and faith. These images connected people to their ancestors and to each other, creating a powerful sense of belonging. But when art and faith are tied to identity, they can also become lines of division. The Protestant Reformation split Europe, not just in belief, but in art. Protestants rejected Catholic images, leading to waves of iconoclasm, art destroyed as a statement of new faith. In the Netherlands, mobs stormed churches, smashing statues in a political act against Catholic rule. The battle over sacred art became a battle over who belonged and who didn't. Art was no longer just decoration. It was a weapon in the fight for power and identity. The same images that united one group could alienate another. Sacred art's power is double-edged. It can inspire unity, but also fuel conflict. The history of nations is written not just in laws, but in the art that shapes their souls. What we choose to create or destroy reveals who we are. Art can be a banner for peace or a spark for war. Its legacy is as complex as the people who make it. The story of sacred art isn't just ancient history, it's alive today. Images still inspire, unite, and provoke, shaping movements and challenging power. Cathedrals, mosques, and temples stand as monuments to faith and creativity. When you enter these spaces, you feel the devotion of generations. Art connects us to something larger, making belief tangible. Today's artists continue to explore faith, sparking dialogue and reflection. Their work pushes boundaries, just as Michelangelo and Luther did. Art forces us to ask, what do we believe? Who holds power? How do we express hope? The relationship between art, faith, and power is always evolving. From ancient icons to modern murals, sacred art gives voice to the voiceless and courage to the oppressed. It's carved in stone, painted on walls, and sung in the streets. These stories are all around us, waiting to be discovered. The echo of sacred art endures, reminding us of our shared search for meaning. History is shaped not just by rulers, but by the art that moves us. For more stories that connect past and present, join our community and subscribe.